My guest today was one of the most ferocious dunkers in the history of the NBA, the human highlight reel, just an amazing basketball player who dominated when he played. And it's a pleasure to have Dominique Wilkins on my show, The Great Dane Nation. Neek, how you doing, buddy? And thanks for joining me.
Good,
Awesome.
man. Thanks for having me, man. How you doing?
I'm great, man. Hey, you were born in Paris, France. Do you speak French?
Oui. That's about all I can give you.
That's good. Your dad was military, so you were only there for a short time and then came back stateside.
Right. You know, my dad was in the army, and we lived in Frankfurt, Germany for a while before I moved back to the States. But I was born in Sobo, France, right outside of Paris.
Oh, got you. Yeah. So I don't know if you knew this, but I'm from Copenhagen, Denmark. So I came over in 1977 as an exchange student. So I'm actually an immigrant from Europe who came over, 40 some years ago.
You're telling your age now, right?
Yeah. Well, Neek, I'm 60. I don't know if I got you beat or not, but I'm 60. I think you might have me beat by a couple of months. You're 60?
You know what? I got you by a year.
You're 61. Well, you're looking good for 6'1",
I'm talking about your age, and I'm older than you.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, Neek. When you were younger, man, you went to Georgia, which so you went and you were a Bulldog. You got drafted by Utah. Didn't want to go there. What was the reason you didn't want to go to Utah?
At the time, Utah wanted me to basically come in and play power forward. And I'm like, you out of your mind. I'm not playing power forward, because back in those days, power forward position had a license to kick your butt. And, I'm 210 soaking wet. I'm not going to play. And them guys are 6'9", 6'10", 6'11", playing the 4 spot. So I'm like, hey, you trade me now because I'm not coming,
Yeah.
And so I was traded, I think maybe a week later. And so I never went to Utah. I never experienced it.
Couple of draft choices, $1 million, and you were with the Hawks. And you had a great run.
Actually, they traded 2 seasoned veteran players and $1 million to get me to Atlanta. So Atlanta gave up quite a bit to get me, and it worked out for both sides, I thought.
Well, looking back on your career and your life, was there a time when you were shorter? Obviously, that was the time. I know that, but you were 6'9" when you play. You're 6'9". Did you have a growth spurt when then you realized, okay, I could be a dominating player at this position?
You know what? When I was in high school, my first year of high school, I was 6'3". I was 6'3" in the 10th grade, and I had a 8.5 growth spurt in 1 year. So I went from 6'3" to 6'8.5" in 1 year, and high school, and I grew another half an inch once I left high school. So it was kind of weird, man. So I knew that I could be a very special player early on in my life when I was in high school. And my high school team ended up going 76-1 in 3 years in the state of North Carolina, which was impossible in the state during that time. I came, with guys like Worthy and Mitchell Wiggins and all these guys Michael Jordan, all those guys that went to school in North Carolina. And we couldn't be beat. We just couldn't be beat.
In high school, was there a player you said, man, I want to emulate that guy. I want to be like him. Somebody in the NBA, maybe college level, where you said, this guy could influence me. This guy is doing it the right way.
You know what? Ever since I've been able to enjoy and understand basketball, it was one guy I wanted to be like growing up, and that was Dr. J. I emulated everything he did. I wanted to be the next doctor. Everybody did, because he was a superstar back then. He was a rock star. And so everybody wanted to be the doctor.
Did you meet Doc several times?
I did. I met Doc my first year playing against Doc. I'm in awe. I'm as a kid in a candy store. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I grew up wanting to be like you. Everything you did, I emulate everything you did. And I wanted to be. He said, wait, hold up. He said, there's only one Dr. J, there's only one Dominique Wilkins. But since they started calling you next Dr. J, you might as well start learning. And I remember he scored probably like 30 something that game, and I wasn't upset. I said, that's the doctor, you know. But it was just amazing for me to emulate a person, and now you're getting a chance to play against that guy that you grew up wanting to be like.
He was Dr. J, but you were the human highlight reel. Who gave you that nickname?
Believe it or not, that nickname I got when I was in high school, 11th grade. I was at a camp in Homestead, Pennsylvania, 5-star camp, which was a world-renowned camp at that time. And it was a guy named Howard Garfinkel who gave me the name because I scored 41 in the All-Star game at the end of the week, and they didn't
Wow.
understand how I was scoring. And so to make a long story short, they said, you know what, we're going to start calling the human highlight film. And I hated the name. But as I got older, I like, wait a minute, I might make a little money off this name, you know? So it kind of stuck. But yeah, Howard Garfinkel gave me that name when I was in 11th grade.
Yeah, and you develop into a dominating dunker, and I loved everybody loves dunks, you know, and you were, when I think of dunks, I think of you. I really do. Certainly Dr. J to a certain point, Clyde to glide a little bit maybe, but really, you were one of the most dominating. And I love the All-Star games. I love the dunk contest. You were part of that. You won it one year. There was also another time when you kind of got robbed in Chicago, right? There was some home cooking going on, brother.
Yeah, man, it made me a little home cooking. But, you know, this is the thing I tell people. No matter who won, the fans got their money's worth. They got their money's worth because you had 2 star players who wanted to know who the best was. And I think a lot of guys today don't want to know who the best is.
I don't know if Gale Sayers, who was a running back with the Chicago Bears, I don't know how he became a judge, and Tony Hawkins, who was a Chicago native, you know, there might have been a little something finagling going on there to get Michael and giving you a 45 in one round, and then so Michael could get a perfect 50.
Well, you know, it happens from time to time.
You're being a diplomat. You're being a diplomat.
It happens from time to time. Do I think I won? Oh yeah, of course. Did he think he won? Yeah, of course. But you know, it's set up for the greatest dunk contest ever.
What kind of mindset do you have to? Because once you get down to it with the head-to-head, one thing is the preliminary rounds, but then you get down to it and it's head-to-head at the end there. What kind of mindset do you got to have to? And do you obviously practice?
There's a couple of things. I never practiced my dunks.
No,
never, not once, never. Not. It was all stuff I was doing in the games. And so the thing I wanted to do is be as creative as possible and dunk with power and grace and finesse at times, and just making sure that they were chasing me instead of me chasing them.
Did you have a go-to dunk? Like, in other words, this one's gonna wow.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I had a couple. I had the windmill, which was a dunk that nobody was doing. You know, the one I threw off the glass, and you know, which people don't understand how difficult that is when you throw it off the glass and your timing got to be right, and you go that high to catch it and finish it. It's difficult, but that's something I knew I could do. I could execute, and I wouldn't miss.
Yeah, the off the glass, you gotta get the ball at the apex. In other words, at the zenith, at the highest point of the ball, right? Because you start coming down, the ball, you know, you can look real silly if that timing's not correct.
Yeah, you know, you can lose the ball or you can mistime your jump. So everything, but again, it was a dunk I never even thought about doing before. I just thought of it in the dunk contest.
Who was a couple of names, good dunkers, Vince Carter, Sean Kemp, of course, LeBron, Blake Griffin. Like, who's the best dunker today in your opinion? It's probably several, but.
Well, I'm gonna still say, guys, as far as great dunkers, it would be Levine and Gordon.
Oh yeah, Levine, man.
Yeah, Levine and Gordon. I mean, just so graceful with it as well.
Yeah. So if you were judging have you been a judge? Yeah, of course you have.
Actually, I judged this year. I've been a judge many times, so you know, for many years. So
what do you look for?
Showmanship, style, power.
Yeah.
Those are the three things.
A combination of those three together.
Yeah, it's a combination of those three things. Absolutely.
Hey, let me play a little name game if you don't mind, and it don't have to be long answers. But I know you cover with you and Bob Rathburn covers the Hawks, of course, and I've done it for many years. You guys do a great job, and of course, their star player Trae Young. When I say Trae Young, what do you say, Neek?
Oh, where do I start? When you say Trae Young, I think young superstar. That's what I think. I mean, because not just from a scoring standpoint, his ability to see the floor is unbelievable. I mean, he's one of the best passers I've seen in a very long time. And for a guy his size to have the range that he has on the floor, it's ridiculous.
A guy I went to high school with at Ben Davis High School in Indianapolis was Randy Whitman. When I say Randy Whitman, what do you say?
Great teammate. Great teammate. I played a lot of years with Randy. And actually, Randy was one of my best friends. And still is to this day. You know, we don't get a chance to see each other a lot, but, you know, we all have different things we do in life. But he was a wonderful teammate. I really enjoyed playing with Randy.
Yeah, he's awesome. Doc Rivers?
I mean, the same, you know, the guys that we were more of a family, you know, it wasn't a lot of different cliques within the team. We were the clique, so to speak, because we were like family. All of us, you know, we did everything together, and that's what made us so close.
You had a year with the Boston Celtics. What was your relationship with Red Auerbach?
I loved Red. Red was the reason why I came to Boston. There was no other reason why I went to Boston. It was all Red. You know, Red came to me when I was playing with Dream Team 2, and he said, I know you can go anywhere you want. Yeah. He said, but I want you in Boston. And I'm going to turn down Red Auerbach. I mean, you know,
no,
that's God. That's God, you know. So I'm like, you know, I said, yes, why not? Let's do it.
That's like turning down Belichick, you know?
Yeah. You how you turn them down? You can't turn down Red Auerbach,
no.
You know. And it was a good experience. I ended up living in Boston for 5 years.
Couple of some really good coaches, Doc Rivers.
Yeah, I mean, Doc Rivers, I thought he would be a great coach even when I was playing with him because he was a floor leader. But some of the best coaches I played, I think for me, Mike Fratello was the best coach I ever had. And I didn't know it until after I retired, how good he was as a coach. So I learned a lot from him.
What do you mean by floor leader?
Well, he was a guy who gets you in position to be successful. You know, that's what prototypical point guards do. They get their ability to get people in position to succeed is what makes them special. And Doc Rivers was that type of guy.
Gregg Popovich.
Well, I was there. I was in San Antonio when he had his coaching debut. Because they fired Bob Hill. He got on the bus. He said, I just fired Bob Hill. I'm coaching the rest of the season. And we thought he was joking. But the bus pulled off and we said, oh, I guess he did fire him. So that was his debut. I love Gregg Popovich. He is one hell of a coach. And hey, he got the rings to prove it. I mean, just one and a wonderful guy. You know, I got a chance to know him personally. And it was a wonderful person to play for, even though we were shorthanded.
Spud Webb. I mean, come on, that was fun to watch him dunk.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Spud, another guy who I kind of took under my wing when he was a rookie, and kind of adopted him as a little brother, you know. So Spud was another guy who was very close. Like again, you know, so many guys on that team were so close, and Spud was kind of the little brother for all of us, but he stood up there with the Giants because he had big time game.
Speaking of a giant, you have the Admiral David Robinson.
Yeah, David, unfortunately, when I was in San Antonio, he got hurt and he had a back problem. And so I didn't get a chance to play with him like I wanted to. But one of the greatest centers to ever play in this game, you know, when you talk about great centers, you know, you have to mention his name.
Sure. Moses Malone.
The same type. I mean, guy's 6'11", and he was a man child. He was a man amongst boys. So talented, so competitive, unstoppable.
Mark Jackson.
Well, I played 1 year with Mark and with the Clippers, and it was a different type of season. Mark was great. Mark was a lot of reason why I averaged the points I averaged in LA. But it was a different atmosphere in LA. It was strange team to play for.
Like, help me understand how.
Well, you know, playing for Donald Sterling was always a challenge.
Say no more.
So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I understand.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. What about Sidney Moncrief?
He was, hey, listen, Sidney was a tough, athletic, focused, and no fear type of shooting guard, man. He was a hell of a player.
Yeah. Hey, is there anyone in the league today that kind of reminds you of yourself dunking the ball and the way they play the game? The way they play it?
I would say I'm a mixture of maybe one or two guys. I wouldn't say just one guy that I would say I would, you know, say like is more like my game or style, the way I attack the rim. I think it's a combination of a couple of guys.
Who are those guys?
You know, when you talk about power, you know, with Blake Griffin before he had his knee injuries and problems. I mean, I think that kind of power. And then from a graceful standpoint, you know, you see the dunkers who like to get in the open floor and finish at the rim. So I think it's a mixture of guys like that.
You and Bob do a great job calling the games. I can't wait to get back there, hopefully soon.
Okay.
At State Farm. Hey, how special was it, Nick? Last question for you. I'll let you go. How special was it for you to get a statue out in front of the arena in Atlanta?
It's first of all, it's being immortalized is the first thing I think of. And that's something that no one could ever take from you, you know, and that shows you how life come full circle when you can have your likeness, your statue in front of a building. That's a lifetime. That's for after you're dead and gone. You know, I hate to say it that way, but you know, it's something for fans, future fans to enjoy for the rest of my life, and hopefully theirs too.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I was lucky enough to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2017, and the bronze bust that lasts 40,000 years. It's kind of cool to think about that. And you're so right about being immortalized through a tribute like that. It's special.
Yeah, and you have it right sitting behind you. That's
right, a replica.
That speaks to everything we just talking about. So, congrats.
Hey, thank you, Nick, and congrats to you. Great career, great job in broadcasting. I appreciate you spending a little time with me on Great Dane Nation. Thanks a lot, brother.
All right, man. You take care.
See you, bud.